Hi everyone, I'm Amy Javernick-Will, and I always start my class by saying Happy Tuesday, and then the class responds. So I would like you to do that. Happy Tuesday! Happy Tuesday. Good, we're all here, so that's good. I'm just delighted to be here today, and I've learned so much from all of you and continue to learn, so I'm really excited about the dialogue that we're going to have. I was asked to start by saying, who am I? And I'm an assistant professor in construction engineering and management in the Department of Civil, Environmental, and Architectural Engineering at the University of Colorado at Boulder. And there's a couple things that you should know about the University of Colorado at Boulder. One, I think we're the most highly represented university here. So we have 5 of us, and I see my colleagues in the audience, which is fantastic. The other thing is that we started the group Engineers Without Borders. So one of my colleagues, Dr. Bernard Amadei, founded Engineers Without Borders at the University of Colorado in 2002. And so we have a large global engineering component at the university that's very important to our students and the faculty. Since then, I just also want to point out that Diane, the Associate Dean for Education at the University of Colorado, has started the Global Engineering Residential Academic Program, which is a living learning community where students are immersed in language and exposed to how to work cross-culturally using technology platforms. So I really encourage you to ask her questions. She's been living in that dormitory in the learning living community. The other thing that really drew me when I was interested in coming into the University of Colorado was in 2009, we started the Mortensen Center in Engineering for Developing Communities. And I recently became associate director of that group this fall, in charge of graduate education and research. And this group is pretty unique. We've been offering a certificate for master's and PhD students to pursue. It includes 4 classes, starting with sustainable community development, which really goes into development theory. It then goes into sustainable technologies in the 2nd semester. And they're learning about field methods, so doing research and working within the field in their spring semesters, and that culminates in a practicum. And the practicum is an in-country experience where you partner with an NGO who is working on, a lot of times, infrastructure, so water, sanitation, and hygiene. It could be also disaster recovery. And so the students have that immersive experience where the partner organization is funding their time abroad. I'm also, just to also bring this up, I'm an NAE committee member on understanding the engineering education to workforce continuum, where I get to work with Jason and Beth. And finally, I'm a researcher of socially engaged engineers and socially sustainable infrastructure, where I really emphasize in disaster recovery. So I started a lot of the research that I did feeling like I didn't fit in, because people told me that Dilbert was an engineer and that I would sit behind a desk. And that didn't sit well with me. I didn't identify with that, and all of the people that I knew in engineering were more than a Dilbert. So we know that most engineers are assumed to be Caucasian men. Engineering is perceived as isolated and sedentary. And then there was a lot of calls to change that, to change our perceptions of what engineers are and what we do, because we are really taking on the challenges of society. And that's a big calling for me. It's a calling that I'm passionate about. And then there was calls for more globally prepared engineers, as was pointed out yesterday. Our incoming class will be the engineer of 2020. Are we ready? Are we ready to address all of the challenges? And so there's been a number of challenges that have come up, a lot of which are in the documents proposed here. We need infrastructure for an increasing urbanized society. A lot of these are in resource-limited communities. We need improved water, sanitation, and hygiene so that we can improve health. We're having increasing numbers of disasters and the impacts of disasters on our society, and we need to take on these challenges, and our students are excited to do that. We've found that if you can do this, we need a more diverse population that is representative of the society that we're designing solutions for. We need both technical skills and we need professional skills to undertake these challenges. We need compassionate and empathetic engineers, and we need engineers that are globally aware. So within this is a group of engineers that I call socially engaged engineers. And these engineers participate in a wide variety of organizations, including Engineers Without Borders, including the Mortensen Center for Engineering for Developing Communities, and a host of other organizations that have really gained in popularity. So we see organizations in a lot of the universities with people that I've met here today, and a lot of other organizations that exist. And a lot has been said about these engineers who are really seeking that societal experience. That's fundamental. So it's a deliberate pursuit of these types of engineering experiences. They are passionate about solving global challenges. It's more gender balanced, and they're developing more broad and professional skills. This is still, however, a subset of a larger engineering population. So how do these engineers differ? And how are they similar? I really wanted to better understand that. So I did that, and I conducted a study in the context of Engineers Without Borders. I think most people are familiar with Engineers Without Borders, but a couple of statistics. It's grown to over close to 16,000 student and professional members. It's approximately 40% female, which really contrasts the engineering population at large. And then, as I mentioned, it began at the University of Colorado at Boulder in 2002. It's a community-driven development programs worldwide that design and implement sustainable engineering projects while creating transformative experiences that enrich global perspectives and create responsible leaders. So I undertook a study that did about 165 interviews and focus groups with people, and then we eventually created a survey questionnaire that was distributed across the United States to compare these two groups. Looking at characteristics, personality traits, motivations for entering engineering, learning, so what they were gaining through their combined experience of education and their participation in Engineers Without Borders, and where their career pathways led them. Was that similar to the engineering population at large? So we don't have time to talk about all of the results I found, but I really encourage you to come up and ask me questions if you would like. But we were asked to identify benefits and challenges. So a lot of my benefits are going to come as the result of that study. So one of the benefits is increased diversity within engineering due to interest and engagement from engineers that have differing motivations and personality types. Again, these people are deliberately pursuing these experiences. So we see the increased gender diversity in this population of engineers, but even when we hold gender, we control for gender, we find very different personality types. So they are similar to an engineer, and they are more. So I was talking to some people in the audience yesterday that we have the same levels of conscientiousness and neuroticism that are typical in engineers, but we also, this group of engineers is open to new experiences and agreeable. So we have this opportunity to have a more representative sample in engineering that represents society. In addition to having the same level of technical skills that they perceive that they've developed, they have increased professional skills. This did not come as a shock to me. If you're trying to design something in another country, you're having to deal with cross-cultural communication. You're having to deal with the logistics. You're having to deal with the local supply chains. And you're having to manage and fundraise in order to get your projects built. So that really contributes to the overall learning and development of professional skills. And in addition to seeing the same levels of interest in engineering design and research, we found that these engineers pursue career pathways that have a higher likelihood of being in management, community development, and public policy. I actually think that's a good thing. So I know that I was talking to some of you that I believe that engineers in public policy is a wonderful thing for our society. We were asked to come up with the single biggest challenge, though, in order to make this happen, and I have three. So that's my smiley face. The first is that I'm really concerned with ensuring that we have community benefit from these experiences. We know that the students are gaining a ton from these experiences, but are the communities benefiting? Are we making sustainable solutions where we're co-creating needs and solutions with the communities? And I think that that's something that we need to continue to look at. Ensuring that everyone can participate and this is accessible. So this is a large cost. At our graduate level, we partner with NGOs that provide the airfare and lodging for our students. However, this is a resource-intense undertaking. People are working on this outside of their classrooms. It's their passion. But as a result, they may not be able to have jobs to support their education, let alone the cost of attending this when they could be doing an internship. And then the last thing that I'm really concerned about is ensuring that there are appealing careers available post-graduation. So having done the career pathways study and having looked at these engineers that are graduating, is there a place for them to go where they can foster their passions and remain engaged in engineering? So with that, I thank you, and I'm looking forward to discussion.